Hi.
It's been so long.
It looks good. We gave everything a nice little reboot. I don't immediately hear any massive disasters.
You just missed a chance for a really good joke. What? Just do the intro to the stream again. Just now started.
Oh, you suck.
You suck.
Is it immediately disintegrating into madness once we actually go live?
Immediately back down 29 FPS and sitting at 75% CPU usage on OBS, up to 91, 77, 73.
Cool. All right, so we have a problem that I guess we have to solve.
How does it look for the everyone else point of view versus just the raw numbers?
Well, I mean, it's the audio is the problem. It's not.
How does
the
it
video.
sound?
Play Sirenscape. Turn the Twin Tiger set back on, and we'll see.
Pull the lever.
Here comes.
We'll find out real quick. That's fine.
That's dice.
Cards, right?
Cards, yeah.
Dice.
It's sitting at
Coins.
Now it's down to 57.
I mean, I don't need you to list numbers at me. It doesn't help anything. Well,
I don't hear. I
we
don't.
definitely have a huge problem.
Better than it was.
But if it's working, I just need it to work for like 1 more hour is the ideal.
We got this. Believe.
I
Use the
believe.
believe
We
stone.
just gotta find the hook.
I got it.
Nick's got the believe stone.
I don't hear any horrible explosions yet.
Let's go.
Power.
I think we're good.
Dream and believe.
Well, we're gonna try it. We're gonna send it. We're gonna see what happens.
Send it.
Let's push forward.
So, before we had our technical reboot there, we were making our way into Eel's End. John had immediately forked off to head up to the easternmost boat, the boat with the 2 buildings. The boat is a big barge on your left as you're coming in up the first gangplank. I said all of those things, and we still ended up on the wrong boat somehow. And heading into the floor of the gambling hall here. You'd seen the band on the one side, and through all of the dice and card games happening throughout the building. Across from that, you see something certainly a little interesting, my man, not from Corvosa. A fairly long table set up, one of the few larger-sized ones in the area that's maybe about 10 feet long, 4 or 5 feet wide. It's a pretty chunky table. And there are 2 people standing at either end of it who appear to have a couple other men that are wrapping around a thick leather cord, binding their left arm to their side. And these 2 people are at either side of this, and a crowd of onlookers around this, John being a moderately tall person and having not descended down to the main floor here, can kind of see over, are tossing some copper and silver pieces onto the table in front of them, in the middle of which is a single straight steel dagger stabbed into the wood upright.
This is interesting. I'm gonna just kind of elbow my way in and just find a random dude who look like he'll talk to me and just like, what's this game? What are we playing?
Over there, Nizies, mad lads they are.
What's the rules? Tell me. I want to
No
know.
rules. I think it's hardly any of them. Look, and kind of motions over as he's just sitting in the corner. He's not currently in a game himself, just having a drink, enjoying the madness. A pretty decent pile of coins has been tossed on the table now, and someone that appears to be kind of officiating this has gone to the middle and put his hands up. He's got his hands up and he's going down, almost like conducting, and the whole crowd around him is shouting, 1, 2, as he throws them down. Both these people, again, their left arms bound to their sides at either end, dive up onto the table and immediately lunge out for this blade in the middle. And the cheering erupts out from the crowd here as these 2 start going at it. The knife kind of gets knocked over towards the man on the left, an older, very portly, balding man who just kind of quickly snatches for the handle of the thing, while the much thinner, kind of almost a rat-like face, little wisps of long whispers patched throughout his chin. Eyes kind of go a bit wide, and with his one free hand starts just scooping and trying to swipe as many of the coins he can his direction as this larger guy picks up the knife and just starts stabbing down at the other guy's arm. All of this, again, to the uproarious cheers of the crowd gathered around the table here. Ain't much to understand.
You stab at the other guy, you try to grab coins?
Oh, you get a bunch of money, or you force the other guy off the table, and the pot's all yours. Oh, there it goes. And as he motions over, the bigger dude gets his knife through what looks like a little bit more than just the sleeve of this guy's arm as he squeals out in pain. And with this dagger in the wood, pulls himself further up the table and just shoves his whole shoulder into this guy, almost over on top of him, where he leaves the knife there and just starts pounding him in the back of the head with his free hand. The guy who's sitting next to kind of shrugs. Like I said, mad lads, absolute insanity.
It is absolute insanity. How do you get in?
Are you serious?
Oh, absolutely.
Walk on up and off it, I imagine. Good coin, if you're gonna win anyway. And at this point, with kind of a streak of blood across the table, the larger guy has just cast the other smaller, thinner lad off the table. He sprawls on the floor, kind of flailing. His other hand still strapped to his side. He can't really move. Blood kind of running down from where he'd been stabbed on his right arm. And this big dude pushes himself up with one arm, kind of gets up onto his knees and pumps his fists up in the air. The cheers of the crowd here. Everyone who would pitch these coins on the table around, divvying out various amounts to those who would whose chosen champion had triumphed here, with a large share of the pot being left for the man himself. A large share of the pot ending up looking like it's maybe 4 or 5 silver pieces
Large share of the pot.
that he gets off.
That's still a decent chunk.
Well, that's a pretty good amount of money for 5 seconds of effort.
It is. For a man who came out unscathed, too.
Are you? Look. Just get the knife. You get the knife first, everything's dandy.
Sounds fair. I'm good. I'll come back to this. I kind of want to. I just got here. I was walking around. It's new in town.
No one town, and you find yourself in Eel's End.
Oh, well, that's a recommendation of a guy I met.
Well, I wouldn't talk to that guy anymore, were I you? But you do as you please.
I'm gonna. Before I do that, that is on the list of things to do for the night.
John's like, oh, I got Sean double homicide killer's like, oh, I gotta give me some of that.
Stab people and get paid for it? Again?
I'm going. Again? Anyways, I'm gonna go find the table. It looks like I have the empty seat that's dealing cards.
And so as you're working your way around in here looking for a table to get in on, the rest of you outside on the main platform for between all of the ships here. 2 of these ships are very quiet. So the 2 that would be the nearest on either side of the Twin Tigers here. The one to your right, which by far has the most muted lanterns, is still a traditional ship and has the doors to what would be its inner hold of the main deck just wide open. The deck actually carpeted with a fairly thick matted rug filling up a largely stripe of this main deck from the gangplank towards this front door. The other ship around behind the Twin Tigers with a very different kind of smoke, just sort of twirling its way out through the various doorways and portholes around its side. That one labeled the Dragon's Breath. That one the less visible in the lantern and torchlight now, but the almost entirely red painted hull of this ship.
Well, I got a gut feeling that says we should check out the red ship over there.
We could do that. Honestly, if these people all work under the spider, they might actually all know something about him. And we should probably just, pick some ships to go look into. Maybe we can find something out. Maybe letting John hold the purse and then go on the boat that's all about gambling isn't a good idea, but it's done now.
I agree with that. Maybe one of us should go with him just to make sure he doesn't do anything utterly foolish.
Well, it's John. He's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. He wouldn't do anything too crazy.
This is also the same man that gets stabbed quite a bit by,
No, he stabs other people. As long as his blood doesn't get up, he should be fine. Like, as long as no one goes and picks a fight with him, like pulls a knife on him or anything, it should be fine.
I mean, do I have to remind you of the orc and the fish, chum and whatnot?
Okay, pulls a knife or throws a bucket of fish paste at him. What are the odds?
Looks up, sees him in a weird fight with a knife.
Oh no.
I mean, does that. Now he's trying to stab people for money.
From the main pier, only 3 ships are accessible. The Golden Hawk on your right, the Twin Towers on your left, and the Eel's End before you.
Okay.
The Dragon's Breath and the House of Clouds are both only accessible through gangways off of the decks of the adjoining ships.
Okay.
There's definitely not quite enough space, even around this 30-foot square pier, for 5 boats to all be moored up directly to it.
Makes sense.
Well, I guess I'll go check out the ship that's not the Eel's End, because Darren's still not feeling too comfortable about walking over there.
Right, I guess that leaves
fun
me
for
at
the
Eel's
Golden
End then.
I'm gonna check out the House of Clouds, but first I'm gonna change for a minute because I don't think I wore the right outfit for this.
I think they have rooms in there for that.
I know. I'm gonna go use one.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the House of Clouds.
Okay, you're going across the... So I guess you guys would both be going across the Golden Hawk, and then you'd be continuing onward to this back gangway to the House of Clouds.
So what's the
And,
what's the Golden Hawk about?
The Golden Hawk looks very nondescript. It looks like a very plain ship, but there is... It's the one that has the thick matted carpet leading up to the open doors to the main hold.
Okay.
And you can see light coming from inside. And as you approach this doorway here in Arden Forks off the House of Clouds, you step inside to a dimly lit interior where they have clearly constructed a counter into what was once either just like a common hall or a sleeping quarters. A large counter into the side of the door, behind which there is a very small, very elderly gnome with sort of bushy, curly, almost like Colby's, but white hair. Just sort of almost bouncing across his head. His brow so wrought with wrinkles that it has almost entirely occluded his eyes as it kind of sags down a ways. And he stands around out to the side of the counter, as the counter is a fair sight taller than him, only standing maybe about 3.5 feet tall. He looks towards you as you come their way. Evening. Looking for a night rest?
A nice wrist?
A night rest. Golden Hawk. Need a bunk?
Oh,
In bed?
I've never been here before. Oh, this is where you can stay. You can stay here.
And he sort of looks off to the side, and as he turns his head, you can see that he's got a bit of a beard, but it really seems to only want to grow up like one side of his face. And even over there, it's some degree of patchy. Looks back over. It's a brief rest and reprieve from the goings on of Eel's End. Ask no questions, you take no answers.
Okay.
A couple copper pieces, and have yourself a place to stay for the night. Or the day, or however long you're willing to pay for it, really.
All right. Yeah. No, that sounds like a good deal. Let's go get a room. Is there one on that side?
And he sort of totters back behind the counter, and you can hear like some jangling of coins or keys or something. What now? Sorry, can't hear you great behind the counter.
Lean over the counter. That side over there. I want one on the side of the ship that faces the Eel's End.
So, I suppose
The view. Is there a view?
the view is on the other side of the pier, I guess, if you want to look at barnacles. I might place the question here. And he pulls out a small kind of moldy little ledger. And name? Don't gotta be your real names. It's something I can use to record by.
Oh, I should make something up.
It is gross.
Shadowhawk. Yeah, that sounds cool.
He sort of looks over at the placard right inside. This is Golden Hawk. Right?
It just came to me.
Inspired.
It's Shadowhawk in his thing.
He's 16,
How long you-
cut him some slack.
I'm gonna
What's
get you a
everybody's
bunk
code
for the
name
night for a copper piece.
Done.
Sort of looks up at the counter.
Right. Is it the whole room, or do I share that with other people?
You ever been on board a ship before?
No.
It's a bunk. And he takes the copper piece and puts it in a small pouch next to or on his hip, and then just kind of sort of totters off, almost not quite a limp, more just like a weird little waddle as he makes his way towards the stairs in the back of this that head down below decks.
Following.
It looks like a gap that's been hacked in the floor that they made for these staircases, and then just kind of paneled over with planks of wood to cover the exposed bits of lumber. It looks a little bit nicer for the effort taken, but it was clearly not a terribly professional job. And he leads you down to the lower deck, where you can see, again, clear stubbed little posts where walls and separations have been taken out, and the whole lower deck of the Golden Hawk having been transformed into one large, very dimly lit chamber with a huge assortment of cots lining both sides and then in a row down the middle as well. Think like an airplane, but for sleeping. And he takes over, and you can choose whichever one you fancy, honestly. Whichever side you like.
Okay. All right. This is how this works. All right. Awesome.
He's already making his way back upstairs.
I guess I can just come and go as I please. Yeah, it's probably fine. There's no locks or anything. Okay. All right. I have reconnoitered this boat. I know things about this boat now.
I'm sure you could leave a bag of money right there on your sack, your cot. No one would touch it.
And as Shadowhawk is down here doing his reconnaissance of the Golden Hawk.
His first name is Rage. He's Rage.
Rage Shadowhawk.
I have no first name.
It's like we have Sir Manly Powers running all of this. So I mean, that's the funny name convention, I suppose.
I mean, when you're a teenager, aren't you always supposed to pick a funny, like, edgy name for no reason?
Rats, as you're kind of trying to look over this, some of your members are a little bit hard to track in the crowd. Notably, John and Arden don't really stand out that much. You got Purple Armor Sable Boy and this thing, which are pretty easy to keep track of.
I'm looking for the scythe, not the man.
you would see the scythe briefly make its way into the gambling hall. And you would see the purple armor head up and below decks of the ship across from it. You see your party rapidly disappearing from view as they appear to be fanning out of these various boats. Where's Floblin heading?
Well, I saw that Darren went off to what looks like the golden. I'm sorry, what was it called? The golden what?
Hawk.
Golden Hawk?
Golden Hawk. Thank you. I guess. What's the center ship on the map?
That's the Eel's End.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on that one.
Okay. And that one is a deck that is covered in chairs and tables and around the walkways on the outside. Various assortments of drunken revelry and dancing going around. During the night, it is almost just an extension of the pier down below.
Gotcha.
Very much public.
I hate both of you so much.
The lower deck clearly totally open and
Merriment
available
and
to anyone who
dancing.
wishes to pass merriment and dancing.
We're the NPCs.
You know what? As Floblin, climbs on board of that ship and sees what's going on, he's a very charismatic little goblin. He's gonna, kind of shuffle, do a little goblin shuffle onto the shipboard, kind of, occasionally be like, "How's it going? Got a mug? I'll take a mug." Just kind of do it like. I hate the random stuff. It's almost like the Spider-Man 3, like.
He is there. He is doing the goblin disco action going on there.
Yep.
Pulling
And-
the Elvis energy.
But
as well he can.
as I'm doing this, even though I'm putting up a very convincing goblin dance here, I am keeping my eye peeled to see if I can spot any what I know of that could possibly be like a way to get a hold of the Spider King or
So-
any of his associates, for lack of a better term.
Up on the middle deck would be a doorway, fairly ornately carved, that clearly looks like it leads into what will be the captain's quarters on a traditional ship. And you can see that... you can see...
I missed it, but okay.
that it was one of fairly simple paneling that honestly less visible in the daylight as the door is set a little bit back into a frame, more visible when it's lit directly from the front by these lanterns.
Okay.
Has had somewhat crudely carved into it the large shape of an 8-legged spider sprawling across the 2 doors here, its legs reaching out to the far expanses of the frame. Its head with 2 huge, almost curved, like pincer-like mandibles, not so much spider fangs, arcing near up to the top of this gently arched double doorway here. And up on that middle deck, there would still be some people that are hanging out having a good time, but you would see a concentration of 3 or 4 of what are clearly the eels and security. The guards that are posted outside the door and just kind of hanging out at a table nearby it. But that is still that deck itself appears to be totally public. There's still people going up there and doing things, just not
Right. Okay.
too close to
So
the door.
upon saying this, I'm going to continue to McGuire my way up there, and just kind of as I get closer and closer to like the security team and the double doors and whatever, and
Looking.
sorry. I'm looking, but as I get closer, I'm going to slowly switch from like, goblin mumbo to
To Kronk. Okay.
oh, hold on.
The monster
Dude,
stomp.
yep. So I'm going to eventually,
What are you trying to sneak? You trying to just like blend
See,
into the crowd here? Or-
kind of, yeah, exactly. I'm already
red
short as
goblin?
is, but
I guess that's fair. Make me a stealth check.
I actually upgraded my stealth
You
with,
bright red goblin.
yes. I mean, I figured that would be the smartest thing
stranger
to
you
do.
look, the less people want to notice you.
Orange is the new black.
Ooh, I rolled a 19 on the die.
That is the new completely invisible.
That is going to be a 28
The
altogether.
closer you are to ultraviolet, the more that it's difficult
chic
it is for
and
people
training.
to see you.
Light passes through him. It doesn't
red's
register
not
on
a
the
color.
human eye.
No, it was pink.
No, it's a ship. He's just a moving light source.
That is true.
So you have lived your whole life in the back alleys of Corvosa, and you are fantastic at this. And
Just
you are
walk into
very
the crowd
easily
like-
able to just sort of dip into the crowd here, against all logic and reason and expectation. Floblin's actually great at this. Meanwhile, Arden would have continued past as Shadowhawk went to reconnoiter his vessel. Arden...
Change his
My
play.
finest moment.
In my secret lair.
So, but before Arden goes toward the cloud, the cloud place, he knows that he's in the wrong outfit. He's in the wrong persona. This isn't who he wants to be if he's going to get on that ship. So he's gonna duck off into the shadows real quick.
I'm not sure where you're gonna do that, but
In the water.
the Golden Hawk is probably like the least packed deck. It is up on the upper deck here where the bridge heads across to where the House of Clouds is. Not really like in the shadows or anything, but there's less people. We can find a secluded-ish corner. The
There we
decks
go.
of the ship.
He's
There's not a ton of space here.
he's not gonna get naked. It's okay.
Okay.
He's
He'll whip it out. Sorry, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave
This is the wrong
or
boat for
go
that.
into the House of Clouds.
Yeah, you have to go in there for that.
So he'll reach around into his bag, and because he's a prescient planner, and he knew that this persona would be needed. His pants are fine, so he's gonna pull out a white billowy shirt that he's gonna replace the one that he's wearing. Leave his druid chain on. Leave the one really nice piece of design on his face, but kind of wash everything else off. Kind of billow out his hair a little bit so that it's kind of looking more black and shiny rather than cut back. And then the pièce de résistance, he's going to pull out a purple velvet cloak with
Okay.
a silver clasp and with his boots and his pants on, which were fine. And he's going to stride out looking very happy with himself, looking ready for a good time, and march toward the House of Clouds.
Did you wash his face?
Yeah.
A little bit. Spit sign.
Oh, it's not rubbing out.
He's got to change before he goes into the brothel.
Yeah.
He needs to impress.
He has to impress the people.
He has to impress the people that you pay.
To act impressed.
All the people who impress.
Fair enough.
Gotta leave a good impression.
You do.
Arden, as you make your way through this ship that
your
you've
fedora.
seen before with the, again, these kind of pale, but still colorful drapes and shades and ribbons drawn across its deck and across the entryway of this main building, you can see that other than Floblin, nobody actually just went up the main bridge to the Eel's End. There's nobody out here on the deck who isn't kind of quietly making their way in or out from the House of Clouds.
Oh, I'm not hiding at all.
But
Literally, everyone around you is like, or just, and you're just pent cane walking around the front door.
the
I'm
front,
here to spend money.
the front of this would be. I've got money.
Pimps don't scrimps.
Any ship you can find, he has to be proud about it.
The front of this structure here, the single, like, longhouse almost that's built upon the deck of the House of Clouds, is actually open, though. It's not extremely visible from a distance because the deck is much dimmer intentionally. The gangplanks on either side are well lit, but aside from that spillover, there's nothing else lighting up the deck proper. In lieu of doors, there are a pair of thick, heavy lavender silk curtains just draped over the entryway. And as you step inside, you see that this longhouse is laying about with overstuffed cushions and fine furnishings, sofas, pairs of chairs sit around small tables. It's a bunch of individual different settings all throughout, but they're all very intimate. There is no like large group area here.
Clearly, they were expecting me.
I see you bought a completely different personality.
And throughout this, you can see a variety of employees. Men and women both, though it would probably be dramatically majoritively women. They're fully aware of their traditional audience here. Wearing kind of similar outfits of this pale lavender that matches the curtains that led into this. They're in a variety of different styles, but they're all fairly light, almost kind of like toga-like, or robes wrapped around them. Many of the men entirely shirtless. And the inside of this whole building is similarly well appointed, almost kind of a smoky haze of sweet-smelling incense with tapestries across the walls and rugs laying throughout. But you enter, and the one figure clearly stands out from this, which is an obviously elven woman, with, even for her kind, very sharply, almost curved back, pointed ears. Her sort of dark blonde hair pulled back into a small tight bun at the base of her skull. And she's wearing a much more elegant, multi-layered gown. And she simply smiles as you enter and gestures towards the chamber.
Alexander Hardbor is here to help you experience what other women only pray to experience. Point me in the direction of your most beautiful women.
I believe that's honor lies in the mind of the chooser. Any here garbed in the same mauve are welcome to your choosing, and welcome to be yours for the night for 5 silver pieces.
Excellent. This is a gold piece. How much silver is that again? I'm new to your shores.
That would be 5. That would do.
Well, I'll take 10 then.
And were you handing her 2 gold? And wait, what do you mean by 10? What are you pulling out?
Two gold. I want 10 women.
Yeah, hold on, 2 gold.
10, just have
It's
her.
like she takes the 2 coins from you. Should you so choose for these, you may take your choice of any pair of your liking throughout the House of Clouds. Please feel free to take your time to make your decisions. Feel free to converse, to enjoy the taste present here. When you have your selections, please come back to me and I will have the arrangements made for you.
Excellent. Their futures have been decided. He'll say, pulling out the cards and shuffling them
He
like
kind
this.
of looks at them and you see her gaze kind of wave a bit of a smirk for a brief moment, but she holds it. Whatever the fates have chosen for you, my dear, you may take the reins here at the House of Clouds.
Yes. And he'll march forward.
Darren would be dead. Darren would be dead.
It's a good thing no one has heard Darren's nickname.
I'm just
Daryl will
glad
be dead.
Arden knows what a brothel is.
Floblin
I
is
was
just
worried
utterly.
for a minute.
Come, my flowers.
But you would be free to peruse the room here. Obviously, you have being very obvious. There are several other customers throughout the area. Some of them who have taken a seat with a few of the staff of the House of Cards here, engage in some brief conversations. And as you are walking away, another man who looks not so much like a dock worker, as he's not particularly well built. He doesn't even look to be terribly old, maybe around John's age, comes up kind of sheepishly leading a much taller half-elven woman back over towards the proprietor here at the front as he fumbles around with his purse and tries to find the coin. You would be free to peruse at your leisure the options available of the House of Clouds.
Excellent. He's going to go to the bar and which of my fine flowers would like
It's not really a bar.
well,
It's
somebody to order drinks from? Presumably
not so much of that, really. It is this
literally
thing does
just women
one
only.
thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. If you want a drink, you can
Each boat is
the
its
Golden
own
Hawk or the
shop.
Twin Towers, but the Twin
okay.
Tigers. But this
I brought
this
my
is-
own wine.
It is really just. It is here for the single purpose. Is find your match and
Do business.
do your business.
Yep.
But as you peruse here, back over at the Twin Tigers, you would easily be able to find yourself in a couple of simple low stakes dice games at some tables here. If you're looking to actually play.
Yeah, we're looking to play. The best way to get into information is by playing with people. They like to talk when they play.
Fair enough. So you're sitting down with a couple of dock workers, a pair of women, one of which is kind of doing this chewing motion constantly. Not sure she's actually chewing anything so much as that's just almost a tick. And the other one sitting back who's gone through at least 3 mugs of ale in the 5 minutes you've been in here. As well as a gentleman who's kind of clearly stands out a bit from much of the crowd here. He's not a nobleman by any chance, but his clothes are a bit nicer. They're not like finery, but they're well enough. They don't look. It looks like he can afford to at least have them decently tailored. As you sit around, and he's currently got this cup as he's shaking up a set of dice or whatever it is that you're doing here. Perfect, Siren Scale. I love you.
All right, then. What are we playing here? Looks interesting.
And as he dumps the 3 dice out on the table as they roll and tumble, and watch them come to a stop. Nothing, apparently. And the one dock worker with the mug slaps their hands down and slides the little heap of coppers on the table over towards her. Devil's dice, yeah?
I'm in. Sure. Don't know the rules, don't know how to play, but hey, let's do it.
About as game of chance as they come. No worries. Nearly 0 skill involved. So she holds this mug up. You can play it as drunk as you please.
I wish I had a mug or a toast to that.
And she just kind of looks around and like motions towards a Vidrani man who has almost a very vibrant, garishly bright red outfit, including a turban in the lower half of a scarf just drawn around his face. You can really only kind of see his nose and his eyes and brows. Who is traveling around with a tray of mugs, his garb matching the red, brighter but somewhat matching the red paint of the ship itself.
I'd flag him down then. They're like, I want one for everyone here around this table, not the whole boat. That's a lot of people. I don't have that kind of money. Hopefully I'll have that kind of money when I walk away,
Guy kind
though.
of cracks a smile. Well, I guess that makes up for it at least a little bit.
All right, so then, can you tell me something? I just got here and I'm
He
seeing
just
so
hands
many.
the cup and the 3 dice to you.
Yeah, I grab my 3 dice.
You're buying, I'm answering. Oh no, the dice.
We're just playing. I just put it in the cup and I start shaking. It's like, so who runs this whole ship thing? I got pointed this way to a man. I met on the way into town and it sounded fun. And this looks like a very big operation.
Oh, and he motions to the waiter as he comes around and starts laying varieties mugs on the table. He's like, "Oh, Rajik here, I think." And the man nods. At your service. Is there anything I could provide for the group of you? Anything that you find lacking?
Oh no, I was just wondering, like, you run this whole operation.
Oh, with my brother, yes. We are the twin tigers of the self-named ship.
That's amazing. So what about the other ships around here as well?
And he is as he goes to turn away. Quite simply, a quick walk to the southern ship. There is the Dragon's Breath. Oh, the Dragon's Breath, the red one. His thing matches the Dragon's Breath painting. He has it says it's bright red, and I figured it matched, but it actually doesn't. He's painted he's dressed up like the other ship's painted. The Dragon's Breath. If you're hoping to forget about the coin that you may unfortunately lose here tonight, or across the way at the House of Clouds of a different vice is yours entirely. Out here to the other side across this pier is the Golden Hawker. Fine night's rest, and one of the safest you'll find in Corvosa in the wake of the king's loss. Best of luck. May Besmara rule in your favor. And it turns and pulls himself away to head off elsewhere, but not before dropping a card behind him. John Taylor doesn't have 3. Let's change that. Mr. T 1976, the card for you, my friend.
Thank you.
There we go.
You can find cards
and
everywhere
roll.
nowadays.
How are we getting the same ones?
Need to shuffle it, or maybe?
I have been shuffling, but I mean, it's like the same ones that we had. It's going to be the same ones. We've seen them all, but they keep happening to go to the same
people.
person. Talk and roll again. It's returned to you.
Well, no, that one originally went to me.
Oh, you traded it to him?
Yeah. I decided it would be better use on the man who stands in front of me.
Well, you get good used to that. And it's come back to him again. It loves him.
It does
Good
me.
relationship.
I love it.
There you go.
It helped me murder a man. I mean,
Didn't
probably homicide a man.
didn't you give me the one that I used on the diplomacy that I gave you?
No, I gave you that
That
one.
No,
you gave me that one,
I gave you trash.
and then I gave the trash to her.
What'd you roll?
What did I roll over here? I rolled a 4, a 2, and a 2.
And as you kind of point that out, oh, I hope you've got a deep purse to be dealing at the coin and luck like that tonight. And you would have they would have had you put a pair of coppers on the table for your roll. And they just scoop everyone's bet into a pile in the middle. At least it's not gone, though, just in the pot. Pass it along.
Pass it to the next person.
That's the lady who's in there just kind of looks at you.
I'll be the third person at the table.
Takes the 3 dice. Now it comes a 1, a 1, and a 2.
Wow.
Great numbers.
See, I don't have to worry about having good luck if that's bad luck.
And the girl next to her has been drinking, lights up again, and puts her hand in the pot and scoops it all over. And it just trickles down the line. I love it. I love all of you. You're the best. I make more money here than I do at the docks. Off her mug, slams it down, and grabs the next one that you'd bought for the table. As she takes the dice. Oh, I've got to roll these. It's coming to me for free. Puts her couple in there. Everyone puts 2 more coppers back in. Hot spot. And they all go together into the middle. She passes the cup back along to the guy.
My turn.
Who I guess Derp can be. So he's looking towards the cup, but he looks over at you. I take it you're, why? You have the coin to buy rounds for strangers you hardly know, so you're either after something or very much not from here. And he rolls it out. What's he got there?
651.
651. And he flips another copper into the middle and slides everything over to you.
Oh, that's a very fair assessment.
Everyone's taking my dice.
That's a fair assessment to make. I am not from here at all. I was just getting a lay of the land to know who to make friends with. You know, a stranger in town. I made a terrible friends when I first came in. One Gadrian Lam. 4, 4, and 1.
4, 4, and 1. Well, it's just 2 up from you.
I
What?
do thing like
2 copper in the pot.
yeah.
Yeah, you put
Yeah.
2 more on the table.
Yep.
Pass it along. The woman just kind of chewing here. And she doesn't say anything.
So, real quick, every time someone rolls, everyone puts 2 coppers in?
No, that was just him. Yeah,
Okay.
everyone puts whenever the pot's gone. Everyone puts 2 in for the
Okay.
next pot. Guy kind of nods. Well, understandable. Well, this is where I spend a fair side of my free time. Well, here at the House of Clouds, if I got coin, and she rolls and puts another 2 copper into the pot as well, which I think brings up like 14 that's in there before she passes it to the drunken girl. And she just kind of takes it.
No, that'd be 12, because there's 4 players.
8. Oh yeah, 2 people have had that in, so 12. You're right. She takes it. Well, it's been going great for me tonight.
Seems
I've
that
only
way.
Come here a handful of times, but on free drinks from new friends. And it's split 3 ways. And that 12 goes out 4, 4, and 4 to everybody but her.
Oh.
That's how I talk about it. It's how it always happens. I'll 2 of it back in. Keep it rolling. And
533 from the dude.
into the pot it goes. And the pot begins with 8 more as he
All right.
slides it back over to John.
So you wouldn't know anyone in town that can.
Here, just use it.
Just keep stealing more and more.
Leave the goblins' dice alone.
You wouldn't happen to know any friends I could make that are easy and trustworthy, was you?
That's not entirely sure the angle of that question.
Oh,
For
I'm trying to make
if you're buying
friends.
drinks, I'm sure you can make fast friends with pretty much anyone here.
It's the trustworthy part that's the hard one. Anyone's a friend as long as there's drinks flowing.
You're in a gambling hall, mate. I don't know if there's a whole lot of luck for that. What'd you get?
441.
4, 4, 1. 2 in, pass it down.
Pass it down.
This is a fun game.
This is a fun game.
Ah,
I should have brought my friends.
finally. And 6, 5, 1. She reaches out, puts her hand in, and takes the whole 10 for herself. Hang it back up, flipping 2 of them back forward, and handing the thing down to the drunk girl. And
We
the
should
guy,
play this over dinner.
We should.
the guy nods. Indeed, I suppose. Well, Ander, puts a hand out to you.
John.
Nice to make your acquaintance, John. But truth be told, I'd be glad to be I'd be fast friends with anyone buying me drinks while I'm losing on me hard-earned coin.
Right? Well, then I'm gonna flag someone else over. I'm gonna flag the guy back over and buy another round and get up. Like I think I'll be done for this game. I'm terrible with dice games. It turns to be.
And the girl rolls out, and I'm great at this. 3, 4, 5, and before it's even in the pot, just takes the whole 8 of them.
And I
will slide 6 of them back over, and just those 2 are mine. Back in.
Yeah. I buy another round for them and just push the one I didn't drink over to her. I was like, you're doing really well. I hope it lasts you all night long.
It's been going great so far. And
Hope
just
it
kind of
lasts.
adds that to her herd of mugs that she's growing on the side of the table here. So, over at the Golden Hawk,
With
Shadow Hawk has scouted the common room. And as you look around, there's maybe a half dozen totally unconscious folk spread kind of throughout the chamber. Most of them at the further end away from the stairs. One of whom you initially think it's like the creaking of the ships is echoing a fair bit harder under here, but it's actually just like a weird, almost tinny snoring rolling out from an old woman against the starboard side about halfway down the deck. That sounds like the creaking of ship's timbers.
Okay.
Shiver me timbers.
So, all right. Well, that explains the entirety of this place. I'll just look around and make sure it is, in fact, the entirety of this place.
Looking around, you are a Sable Company Marine. I'm sure you'd be familiar enough with the ship to know what a bilge is. There would be, behind the staircase in the stern of the ship, a large sort of pumping mechanism next to a hatch. That, given the size of the ship from the outside and their positioning, you're almost certain it's just a bilge pump in excess for raking or if something goes wrong. But otherwise, it looks like the ship has been fully and completely gutted to be this massive common room and sleeping chamber here, and there really doesn't look like there's much else to see down here.
Okay. Well, the innkeeper mentioned that I'd have a great view of the underside of the barnacles on the dock. Are there, in fact, portholes?
There would
down
be
here?
portholes. There would be portholes down both sides of the ship. The ones on the port side looking down the narrows, giving, well, a view of the narrows, and the one on the starboard side just a few inches below the wood of the main pier itself. And maybe 1.5 feet above the rolling water most of the time, giving you a nice view of the green slick growth up the support beams and the aforementioned barnacles clung to all sides of it. Neither side is a particularly impressive view.
Right. But that's an egress that's no one's watching and is kind of undercover. So Shadowhawk, for all intents and purposes, will be staying the night. But I'm going to try to open one of the portholes and kind of squeeze out and let myself into the water.
Okay. So as you push these open, they look like they haven't bothered to seal them really. But the metal hinges open with a creak, to which you immediately hear a drunken call from the ship. Shut the hell up, mate! And just be like, as it opens. Almost instant reaction. Do we have snoring? I love it.
That's amazing. Sirenscape, man.
Jeez, I thought that was derp.
What, farting and synchronity?
No, like his character like falling asleep watching stuff out on the boat, got real bored.
Probably.
But you would be able to fit your way out of the porthole here, and it would let you out beneath the pier. Which is not a perfectly constructed pier. There are some gaps in the wood. You can certainly hear the revelry and the creaking of the boards above and around you. But most of the sound would just be the water lapping against the outside of the Golden Hawk itself.
Okay. Just gently lower himself into the water. It'll splash a little bit, but it's out of sight. I'm going to leave the porthole a little ajar in case I have to get back in that way. And I'm going to swim along the eel's end and try to get kind of towards away from where there's talk, and maybe I can overhear something or find an easy way in, because I'm not going to be able to talk to anybody and get any information out of them.
Okay. So, fortunately, all these ships are permanently moored. So the water here around the Eel's End is actually perhaps some of the calmest in the entire Jagare River, as any currents or motion is broken by the hulls of 5 permanently moored ships that are all pretty securely stapled together at this point, allowing you to, honestly, I'm going to make your own athletics check, very easily move your way up alongside the port side of the Eel's End itself. Now, this ship is significantly larger than the other 4, and portholes that it sports would be several feet up above the water, almost damn near level with the deck of the Golden Hawk. And there would only seem to be a few of them spread down the fore half of the ship. The stern half having virtually nothing. And even up top at the captain's quarters, where almost certainly there would be windows, as the view is a large part of the appeal traditionally, it is just solidly paneled wood. Absolutely no windows or means of ingress. You can see the stern of the ship in any way at all.
Okay. All right. I'll move further south so that the House of Clouds is firmly between me and the rest of all the observers.
And as they're pretty securely attached together, you can very easily just kind of stake yourself down there.
Okay. And I'm going to see if I can hear anything. Like, just try to pick up conversation or hear if I can maybe, like, and trying to get away from the area where there's people congregating. And just maybe I can eavesdrop and overhear something that might be useful.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll keep on circling here. Rhett's still just watching all of this. We'll finish up this side of the table. Floblin, as you are directly above this, unbeknownst to either of you, on the deck, basically directly above Darren. You're blended in pretty well. No one really seems to be paying you any heed or any notice whatsoever, really. What are you doing as you wait here? You're largely doing the same thing? You just...
I mean, as I stated earlier, I was, dancing with the crowd and then, putting my hair out and then,
Right.
progressing into a sneaky
Yeah. So you're
way.
like up on the middle deck
Yes,
here, just
yes.
sort of nonchalantly causing no notice.
Yes, I am trying to get, I guess, as close as to where I possibly think the King of Spiders is, as far as
Probably
like,
the door with the giant spider carved out.
I mean, obviously that door, and I mean, how many guards do I see in front of that door? Three. Okay. Oh, I can see it on the map.
One of them like leaned up against the wall next to the door, arms crossed, talking to another two that are seated on the two sides of the table nearest the doorways. The doorway with the carved spiner on. The three of them talking about something.
Would I be able to hear what they're saying?
Absolutely. The guy's listening, and as they're sitting down at the table talking, it's two women at the table and the guy up against the door. And the first girl just kind of shrugs. Sort of disheveled, red hair. The only thing that really distinguishes her from largely the same armor and outfit everybody else has. I don't know. I didn't super care for it. Really, was the thing. And the girl next to her, the woman next to her, is a bit larger with darker hair and a thick ponytail that drapes up from almost the crown of her head and hanging down to about her shoulders. Loudly sighs, rolls her head back, and rolls her eyes. And the red hair girl says, No, hold on. Let me explain. I watched the whole thing. I'm telling you, I saw the entire performance, and it's not a fault of the actors or the direction or anything. It's just the story itself. It's utterly unbelievable. No one would ever do anything like that. And the guy with his arms crossed kind of shrugs. Suspension of disbelief. I mean, you can't. It's not real. And she goes, I know, but the suspension of disbelief requires it. There's got to be an anchor of logic there, right? It has to make the smallest amount of sense. It's got to be something for you to latch onto. And when you have your characters, your main characters, your primary cast, making ridiculous decisions again and again and again, it's just
Man, it's just got meta.
Okay, so as this conversation is going on, Floblin is going to try not to be rude and interrupt. However, he's going to
be rude and interrupt.
However, he's going to casually invite himself into the conversation. Pardon me, I'm kind of new to this area, and I've been looking for some new plays. Is that what you're all talking about?
And the woman, the red-haired girl, just kind of shakes her head. You don't wanna. And the guy just kind of nods. There's a troupe down in traveled into North Point. They're putting on their shows for another couple of days. It was Larry Stodger and the Room of Things Unknown.
I've never heard of that one.
I'm dead.
Tell me, what's that about?
I'm still dead.
Larry Stodger in a room of things unknown.
Dude, if you've never been in the room,
Oh, it's about a boy. This Stodger. He, I don't know what they call it, sorcerer or something. He's got just sort of magic natively in his blood, and he's trying to go to a wizard school to learn to control it like a proper mage. But it's just something natural to him, and as you know, it's a. And the red-haired goes it's and she swears things like that. No, absolute garbage. Doesn't mean anything. It's totally unbelievable, utterly underwhelming. Don't do it. 2 out of 10.
Well, if it's one thing I can definitely tell you, being a goblin, is I know garbage when I see it. So I am definitely interested in seeing it. Please tell me more. And as he's trying to coax them into getting more and more comfortable, he's trying to use his very intriguing goblin perception.
Oh, intriguing goblin perception. Okay.
To see if he can notice any body language or see okay, is there any keys hanging off their belt or anything like that he can be oh, maybe I can, swipe that up later, or is there any broken windows or loose floorboards that I can slip into later, or He's trying to think of every way he can possibly.
The flagship of Eel's End does not appear to be any level of decrepit that would allow an entire goblin to fit into it easily. But make me a perception check while you're here talking with them. And they seem far more amicable than what you two would have found during the day, as they are perfectly content to just talk to this weird goblin that walked up to them. At least humor him.
My perception was a 9.
Well, looking at the door, even just taking any effort to look it over, you can see it doesn't appear to have any lock itself. The double doors of this chamber has large wrought iron handles, but doesn't even appear to have a latch so much as just like the heft of the door, or perhaps like a bar on the inside may keep them together.
Gotcha.
And they are a little bit grooved into the floor, so that they would not open any further out onto the deck than what they already are. But there's no mechanism between the doors that would even be so much as a regular handle. So there's nothing that would be locked. And similarly, the guards that you're looking over don't seem to be carrying anything other than saps on their hips on one side and a pair of manacles on the other.
Well, upon that, as they go back and forth with the ravings of the play and whatever, Flawblend is like, well, I definitely appreciate your input. I have one last question for you, if you don't mind me helping me out here. Just being a goblin that's new into the area.
Guys, if we could do anything other than talk about this garbage.
I was told that I would be able to find some possible help with a problem if I came to this area, and they told me to look out for a marking kind of similar to that one, and I point to the door. Would you happen to be able to introduce me?
Maybe a diplomacy check.
Which I am totally not trained in, but...
I'll make you a blind trade.
You know what? I'll take it.
I don't have anything that can help.
We're trading card game now.
Use that right now.
What's this do?
He's
Daring attempt.
reading frantically.
Oh, okay. What it says is select one untrained skill that you have, which you are now trained in it. And what else does it do?
If you succeed, you keep it for 1 minute. You keep trained for 1 minute.
You remain trained in diplomacy. Okay.
If it happens in
succeed.
combat.
So trained, if you're completely untrained, you're level 3. So,
I don't
by
think
the
it
way,
matters
I don't think we actually mentioned it on stream, but they rested after that last evening when they got Captain Grab back. They are level 3 now.
Yeah.
You would add 5 to your total, because 2 for the train modifier and 3 for your level.
I don't think it's gonna matter considering what I rolled.
You can also re-roll.
You can swap your other 2. A world of possibilities before you, Goblin.
This is true, but I really like these 2 cards.
Yeah, are you? You don't have to use Daring
Yeah, I know.
Attempt, are you? It's up to
I'm
you.
still using Daring Attempt to help.
Okay.
Get that plus
It's
5.
plus 5.
That's something. So that's a total of 11.
Good card.
If I can pick it up
It
right.
goes in the dumpster.
I tried.
With an 11, as you kind of turn the subject back to anything pertaining to Eel's End and their operations here,
Definitely not.
the guy at the door kind of looks down. Ain't nothing in there that's likes you, Goblin.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I have some gold if that helps.
Just kind of look down. You got plenty of places to spend it here in Eel's End.
Right. Well, if that's not the case, who would I speak to about possibly being introduced, or maybe somebody else that can help me with the problem that might not be
And now
him?
the reaction is turning to something that's a lot more like what Darren and Arden first. So he kind of chuckles, and the 2 women at the table sort of turn to each other and share a smile. He just shakes his head. All right, I guess I can say to some more Goblin, piss off.
Well, that was quite rude, but I appreciate your time nonetheless. And he just kind of, and then he just kind of shimmies back into the dancing crowd.
Dances his way back into the crowd.
So with that unfortunate attempt, Flubble at least tried to figure out some bit of
So
information.
you're up on the deck, and you down below, as you're trying to listen here, you're perfectly positioned to hear things going on the middle deck here. So you would hear a bunch of inane conversation about some strange play, and then you would hear what you're pretty sure is Floblin doing all of that.
Yeah, he did about as well as I would have done, so I can't really give him too hard a time.
But as he makes his way away from that, you hear the man's voice again as it kind of carries down the gap between these two ships to the water here, much more clearly than you would really expect. What all the gods was that? A goblin with hair somehow redder than yours coming up. Looking for the king of spiders. What could a goblin do? Find a better dumpster.
Well, that's it was informative. I learned intelligence.
And you hear the girl, the red-haired girl. Not that you would know that was who it is. Speaking again, I don't know. Maybe he's looking to find somewhere he can get a dog to eat. That's a goblin.
It is a goblin.
Did goblins eat dogs? Mm-hmm. I'll remember that from next time.
They hate dogs, don't they?
Dogs. He didn't seem to really hate. No, he really hated that dog. Actually, now that I remember it, he did hate that dog.
Meanwhile, Arden has had.
For anyone who doesn't remember, goblins have a racial weapon called a dog slicer.
It's literally called a dog slicer and a horse chopper. They hate dogs and they hate horses. That's
Horses are much.
The hate is mutual.
A horse is just big dog. Yeah. When you're a goblin, big dog
Very
with
big
like
dog.
armor feet. It's like the worst possible dog.
They're immune to caltrops.
They aren't actually.
Ironically, no. Horseshoes. The horseshoes. They do nothing.
Why are they even called shoes?
They're made of steel.
They're attached with nails. What is this?
Arden, you're here in the House of Clouds.
Alexander Harbor chooses a you, and he chooses a you.
Who are you selecting?
Two girls. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
two girls
two.
that do not have company yet.
Okay, you would have the vast majority of those that would be in here would of course be humans, as is much of the makeup of most of Corvosa. But there would definitely be a larger skew towards elves and half-elves here than you would find most places throughout the city. Take from that what you will. But
I'm looking for women who look like they're having as much attention as some of the others do.
exactly where I was going. You would find a woman whose kind of pallid green skin looks somewhat unnatural for a half-orc, because they usually skew either towards like the orange-brown or towards much more aggressively green. And it looks like she is much more covered than the rest of them. You can see in her hands is clearly either a thick layer of makeup she has on her face or things she has done.
Alexander Harbor does not see color. He only sees beauty.
Her head, almost entirely shaven, save for one thick braided ponytail that extends down past her waist. Her two fangs jutting up from her lower jaw as her mouth is closed, kind of accenting her grin as she rises from her seat, surprisingly kind of elegantly. Though she is, just due to her nature, a fair sight larger than many of the other human women here. She is quite lithe. And then there would be, probably just to pick one of plenty of other human women who just isn't getting a whole lot of various action this evening. And the two of them would stand to join you on either side.
Come, you shall witness my acrobatics.
Each of them taking one of your hands in both of theirs.
Half-orc's gonna throw you across the room.
As they move to clear a path for you to make your way back over towards the proprietor at the door. And look over her direction, and the other woman at the door raises two fingers and nods. And both of them seeing that would then instead turn you around towards the staircase that heads below decks at the back of the chamber here.
Okay, so before we go any further, I just want to say this is not going where you think it is.
I
Hope so.
hope so.
I would assume so. It is Arden.
Yeah, it's Arden. I assume we're about to do something.
Arden's
Arden.
like, I just blew 100% of my social energy. Give me 5 minutes.
So Arden is gonna take them back into a room.
And as you head down the stairs, it would be an absolute polar opposite to what you would find below deck at the Golden Hawk. Of course, rather than a large, common, massive hold that nobody wants, here would be a very narrow passageway lined with thin veils and beads towards stout wooden doors spaced every few feet, as this entire hold has been divided into a huge variety of individual single chambers, clearly made of much stouter, thicker wood, more akin to the outer hull of the ship than to an interior dividing chamber. The doors to the first pair would be closed, as would the one on the left, whereas the rest of them were all left wide open down the hall, as you can see, and they would lead you to the first one on the right. And I don't know if Arden has a social grace to pick up on these. They're not literally like leading you, but they are. You would feel like you're leading them, but they are very much directing you to this room.
Once he gets in there, his entire persona will change, and he'll actually start shaking a little and kind of revert back to his mannerisms. Do you think I did okay? Do you think that they all thought that I was handsome?
And as you do, the half-orc woman closing the door with a thick wooden latch on the inside, large and visible. As
for 3 minutes.
3 minutes of playtime. As the human woman who has some fairly dark freckles across her cheekbones here, sort of wavy brown hair, almost bobbed down her shoulders, takes a seat, and in this room there is a much finer bed than the sand cots of the Golden Hawk, and a few overstuffed cushions, with even a table set between two of them at one side. It is kind of almost a well-appointed inn-room. There is no storage in here, but she sits down on the cushion nearest you and takes her hand. Oh, it's okay to be nervous. Don't worry.
You see, my father and my friends, they wanted me to come here and have a good time, but you see, I'm in love with my valet, and my father does not want me to be with him, and he's hoping that I'll come here and we'll perhaps find another, but it's not to be. I don't want that, so I was hoping that maybe if I paid you enough, we could just sit here quietly and talk all night, and I'll pay you for the whole night, and if you'll tell everyone what a viral man person I am.
This girl has one of your hands in both of hers still, just kind of like gently sort of stroking the back of your hand. You don't gotta worry a bit with us. Believe it or not, it's not as uncommon a story as you might think.
Oh, good.
We don't have to do anything you don't feel comfortable doing here. You got us for the night, whether that's in the bed or simply enjoying each other's company.
I would, if you wouldn't mind, I would just like to talk. I'm sure you ladies know any number of interesting stories, and well, court is just full of interesting stories. And I brought. He'll lay out like some biscuits and water, and then he'll use enhanced victuals to turn them into the finest food and wine.
And as they kind of look at this, sort of impressed by the magic, the human girl looks at this, and her face kind of lights up with the magic. The half orc, her eyes immediately go wide, and she almost kind of shies back and puts a hand to her chest.
It's okay. It's a simple trick that I learned.
No, you need not apologize to me for my discomfort with magic.
If you don't mind me saying so, I think you're lovely, and I'm very glad that I chose you to keep me company tonight.
I miss Alexander.
Hi. Thank you, my lord.
Perhaps
It is a shame that one as handsome as you is forced through these obligations to tie themselves to another they do not desire.
Perhaps you could tell me something and try to cheer me up a little. Maybe some gossip or funny stories, anything.
And the human girl sitting there, she's sort of looking over the stuff that you have made, almost just beyond and sort of playing it up a little, how impressed she is. Of course, my love. Here at the House of Clouds is any pleasure you desire. It doesn't just have to be carnal ones. And
Oh, Colin! And he'll actually just bust out crying. Kind of using his real emotions over not being able to find his cousin to like bring up tears and kind of make them feel horrible for him, so they'll just talk.
And they're not like inept at dealing with this. This is like a surprisingly not dumpster old Corvosa brothel.
I didn't
like,
think it would be. Being what they charged, I wouldn't think so.
They are not completely hopeless at this. They are well versed in comforting you and entertaining, and they are perfectly competent at holding a conversation. They have their plentiful stories of their own to share. And
I'll try to lead them around to stories about the boat and kind of legends about the man who started it. He'll kind of go, I've heard he came from our ranks, but that can't possibly be true.
Oh, the Spider King? He, truth be told, I don't think anyone rightly knows where he's exactly come from, and I think that's largely by design. He very much keeps to himself, but
I've heard he's handsome and mysterious.
well, I've never had the pleasure of seeing him in person, but nobody who commands that level of respect gets to such a station without, well, a pleasant face or a truly impressive amount of coin to our experience. And he does command quite an impressive amount of respect. Eagle's End is it's a great place, all things considered. Probably one of the safest in Corvosa since the passing of King Adrian.
I'm glad he treats you girls well.
Well, he doesn't have much of a hand in what we have going on. That's left much to Mistress Halvera up top. She handles all the things, all the overhead with Eagle's End proper.
Huh. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. I thought the ships were all like kind of one thing.
And the half-orc woman sort of shrugs. Oh, like she said, we don't have a hand in the business side of things. Our area of expertise is here in the chambers below.
Is he you sure you've never seen him? He's not handsome. I've heard tales.
I have seen him about. He has that sort of rugged appeal to him.
Really? Rugged?
He's very, he wears his scars, carries them proudly and well.
Scars? I like a man with scars.
Twisted what must have been dark times in his life.
Oh, dark,
to an
yeah.
impressive visage now.
A visage. Wow.
I simply mean his face.
Does he have a beard?
He doesn't, no. He keeps himself clean shaven, but his hair is wild, almost a mane of black atop his head. He is an impressive looking man, if nothing else.
So few of those around these days.
Oh, do not undersell yourself.
Really?
Truly, you are certainly among the easier to work with clients that we have seen in the House of Clouds. Certainly one of the more pleasant to gaze upon.
Thank you. I suppose it comes from being, well, made to do it.
And the human kind of nods. It's you carry yourself well. You got that bit of noble grace in you. Have clear signs of a proper upbringing.
He'll blush.
You've been taught well. You've been taught
thank
right.
you. He's gonna try to get her really tipsy. He has a lot of
Definitely
water with
drinking.
him, and as he gets her a little bit drunker, he's gonna try to start playing
Enhance victuals Jesus water into wine?
Yes.
Does it really?
Yep.
Do you have
It
the card?
improves the quality of food. It creates basic wines.
Wait, does it seriously?
Yep.
It's a cantrip?
Yep.
No, it's
it's
level
level
2
1.
spell.
Oh, you're.
Oh, 2?
You're casting level 2 spell.
You
Okay,
literally-
that makes way more
Yeah,
sense.
you
were just flinging it, so I thought it was like, oh yeah, it's a level 2 spell. Okay, so you just barely got access to this level of potency.
No, like
Fair enough.
the second I knew we were doing this, I was so excited.
So it's up to a gallon.
Yep.
How many level 2 spells? Are you a prep caster and a druid, or are you spontaneous?
Oh no, I'm a prep caster, but I knew what we were doing
You have
tonight.
literally all of your level 2 spell slots are enhanced victuals.
Yes.
She got the prep caster like goal. Like she knew exactly.
I knew where we were going
I
tonight.
have 3 slots and they're all enhanced victuals. Let's go.
Gonna enhance your victuals all night long.
3 gallons of wine that you can pump out here.
But
Fair
essentially, what he wants to do is like get them
enough.
playing
That's a lot
like
of wine.
almost like stupid like games that like you would play like when you get drunk, and just start them talking freely about the happenings
No.
of the boat.
While they would definitely plan this, and especially the human girl would have no reservations about drinking some, they are like they're like probably they're they're professionals, I suppose, and this is as much an act as it is. Well, you are certainly one of the nicer patrons, I'm sure. As much an act as it is them, actually enjoying their time. They're working. Make me a deception check. Because trying to get the talent of the House of Clouds to drink themselves past any line of their proper tolerance and awareness would not be super easy. It would not be the first or the 1,000th to come in here and try to get them despicably drunk.
Especially with a half orc.
She's just like, magic? Nope, you can drink that. I don't
Yeah, the
know.
half orc's not super. She would take a little, like politeness play into it, but she clearly is very
Just like-
not okay with the magic. She's
Tastes like wine.
like, well, no.
It's respectable.
Okay. It's a 16.
With a 16, you definitely would not be able to get this girl to anywhere past like the edge of tipsy. And it's like the front edge of tipsy. She is very reserved with her consumption. And very adept at politely redirecting or rebuffing any attempts to get her to consume more.
And honestly, he's doing it really clumsily because he is clumsy, so it doesn't even look contrived like he's trying to manipulate her. He'll even get a little tipsy himself. Essentially what he's doing is just trying to get them just talking about fun things that have happened on the ship, trying to get any bit of information that he's not
Bit of
even going to
intel
know.
that you can.
He doesn't even know where it's going to come from because it could come from any place. So, I mean, he's got all night with them. Might as well use it.
Give me a diplomacy check.
This is my moment.
I got no cards that can help you. I'm sorry.
It's all right, man.
I have faith. That's a 20.
Come on, dogs.
So scared.
That's a 19.
For a total of.
A 19.
With a 19, you would get them. You clearly are showing interest here. And whatever your purpose is, they're not paid to care about. So they would be reaching for things to share with you, things to continue entertaining you, stories about the Spider King and Eilzan and what they have. And the human woman, like, he has a pet drake, actually. I didn't know that you could even tame those little things. I've only ever seen them flying about throughout the town, getting in their terrible little fights with the imps coming out of the academy. But apparently, you have a force of personality as strong as the King of Spiders, and you can put anything you put your mind to.
Wow. Is it purple?
It is actually. It's got
Purple's
like
my
a
favorite color.
real the undersides of its wings are a bright blue. It's real vibrant.
Ooh. Does it have a name?
I don't know. I don't know personally. I just saw it when it was gifted to him.
Wow. Who gave it to him? Who'd give you such a beautiful gift?
I don't know. I was just out on the pier doing my shift at the time.
I like
And the-
drakes. They have such pretty wings.
The orc furrows her brow a bit, thinking, you know what? I didn't consider if you're new here. You know this title, the King of Spiders. It's literal.
Like, he talks to spiders?
I don't know if he talks to them or what, but His quarters inside the ship on the Eel's End. There's dozens, if not hundreds, of the things crawling about. They listen to him, whether he speaks or otherwise. They're tame, they're calm. A matter of fact, most of the time I see him out on the decks. He has a couple of them, the size of a palm, clinging to him, climbing about.
That is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Oh, it's certainly more of a terrifying sight from my end, but I thought it might be something you would find intriguing.
That's
He
tantalizing.
has ones of such vivid colors, bright purples and yellows, looking almost like glass ornaments with their spindly legs as they crawl across them. And she's like, her line is trying to tell this story in a way that's like, she's not cringing into a singularity, because you're clearly interested and she hates it. But she's doing it. She's doing her best.
All right, we gotta burn the boat. That's the only solution.
She's a professional.
She's a
You know
professional.
that large tarantulas can have hairs on their butt that they throw at you as a weapon.
Hate that. But I did know that.
Did you know
They
there's
scrape them off
I
into
did
the
know
air.
that, yep.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
It's actually, I think they have that attack in Pathfinder. I think I'm pretty sure the
Thanks.
CR,
I'll never unsee that.
the
Squick.
CR6 or whatever, the large-sized ones, the giant tarantulas, I'm pretty sure have a cone attack that is hairs.
I just
That's
Spiders
horrifying.
are-
I'm almost positive because we ran into them in Book 2 in Age of Ashes
Yep.
briefly.
Yeah,
I'm
we did.
pretty sure they had the hairs cone attack.
They
I
didn't
think
need to
do
use
that.
it, but they
They might not have got to use it. I think they had it.
I'm gonna write
The
him.
more you know.
I'm gonna write him a poem about his beautiful spiders and his webs.
He does very much appreciate gifts of Ephesians to his reign here at Eel's End.
Oh, good.
He has an opinion well deserved of his station.
I would love to see his station. I mean, I would love to write him a poem about how wonderful he is.
Do you think he'd show me his station? How much is that? You guys for 5 silver. How
and I
much
know
is
it's not
it?
an act because he's not trained on performance.
If your
Or
station
diplomacy, or
5
deception.
silver, is his station like a gold or something?
No, their station's 1 gold.
You know,
Well, she paid 1 gold for each of these because
I mean, I know you guys have boys here. Does he entertain? This would be like a
exactly
third.
their reaction. As you're down here talking to them for some time, Reth overlooking this here, make me a perception check.
This is your moment.
16.
A 16, though you see Floblin up on the middle deck of the Eel's End itself, just vibing after he's backed away from the door. You saw him approach the door and try something. Nothing looked violent or anything. He just danced his way back into the crowd, no progress. The whole rest of your party has disappeared into various ships, never to be seen again. They have been in there for probably half an hour at this point as you've been kind of overlooking this.
Fully expected.
And yeah, there's no sign or hide of them. It's
I will know when there is trouble.
yeah, it's a lone. Yeah, nothing looks concerning at all. You just have absolutely no idea what is going on here.
None of us do.
Now, do I really need an idea of what's going on when I still got that 5th of whiskey?
That's what he wanted. He wanted to just go up here. He's got his gun there. He's laying prone.
hunting.
They had the rooftop. He's got a good overview.
You're in your
He's
tree
just
stand.
taking- He's just taking swigs out of the bottle.
It's
Looking
a
and
good
waiting.
old-fashioned Florida Saturday.
Yep. Pretty much just sitting there, just
North Florida Saturday.
Darren, between the Eel's End and the House of Clouds, Arden inside the House of Clouds, learning what she can. John,
Best night ever.
about to go play knivesies. And
About to go play knivesies.
are you gonna actually?
That's like footsies.
Can
but
we do that now?
No.
Like right now?
And
No.
I want to
Floblin
see him get stabbed.
still
I'll
up on
see
the
that.
mid deck. So back over at the Twin Tigers, John, as you stand up in your dice game here. Are you going to
I'm
this
going
table?
to play. I'm going to go. You know what? I'm in the mood now.
Losing a few copper got
You
you.
move
in
your
the
way
mood.
over to the table where there is just kind of a decent
What's
amount
up?
of space. The greatest floor space within the furniture here is around the knivesies table. So you just sort of walk up into this crowd that's around, and they're all talking amongst themselves, looking at stuff, and you get your way through there, but no one really like acknowledges you as you approach.
I just walk up to the table and slam my hand down. I want to play
People
this.
There's kind of some uncomfortable sort of chuckles and some like hand waves.
I take 5 gold pieces and throw it on the table. I want to play this now.
Let's do some improvisational comedy now.
All sort of look amongst
Are you
themselves.
cowards?
And
You think you can't beat me?
you see just some of them kind of turn around to make a bit of space. And you see a pretty big dude walk up. Who's just got a plain shirt that's not much more than like, almost a cotton wife beater and some overalls around it. Big old tree trunks of arms completely exposed out of the side. No hair on the top of his head. Huge brown beard just hanging down to about mid-chest. And the man's built like a lumberjack, like a power.
So the exact opposite of this.
Exact opposite of this.
He's not like the well-sculpted muscle. He's just a big old dude. He looks over.
Oh, so Colby challenged me to a fist fight.
I'll take you for that.
Yeah, I would hope you're not stupid. Let's do it.
You know what you're doing here, kid.
Wasting money. Let's go.
I'm wasting a bit more money at Knivesies. Look. And he reaches over and grabs the kind of bloodied knife that was on a table and just sort of wipes it off on the hem of his overalls. Slams it in the center of the table. Not my problem. Heads over to one end of the table and just kind of motions to a couple of dudes in the crowd and puts his left arm at his side. And they grab some of the thick leather straps and start. It takes a couple of them to work around his girth here to get his arm tied up to his side.
I motion for them. He's like, you know what? Actually, better yet, make it more interesting. Dominaton.
Okay. Tying up your right arm here.
Sean is adrenaline junkie right now.
Dude,
John-
homicides are not enough for this man
John
anymore.
Double Homicide Tiller.
That's his stage name now.
Stepping up to the Knivesies table, throwing out 5 gold. And from around the crowd, you got some coins showering out onto the table. As you can see now up in here, the people who are throwing the money are tossing it on like one side of the knife or the other and then moving that into the table. As about 98% of the crowd shuffles around to big old lumberjack side of the table on your 5 gold and a smattering of copper pieces from people who are here to play the odds are over in your corner.
Smarts men. That's that they are.
But I think here is where we're going to end today's session. Fortunately, it seems like the restart did largely fix things. A little hiccup right at the beginning, but I haven't heard basically anything go wrong since then. Fantastic. Salvaged. We're good. Technical issue overcome. Sorry about that break in the middle there. I don't know what was happening.
The
That was
return
weird
of
and
Machine Fist
unfortunate.
golems.
It was Machine Fist everything, though.
Yeah,
And it was
the machine
wanted to
fist ills end.
Stop happening.
So, good news. If he starts to kill you, I can shoot him.
He's not.
You can't see the Knivesies table from where you're at. That is very explicitly against the inner wall, very hidden from view from the shore. That's not the face they're putting out to the public of Cormosa.
Come and enjoy your time on
You
this
can
boat.
see the opposite side of that room, which is some card and dice groups and like a little bit of the band.
And I can see
Player.
everybody looking over that way.
Well,
Bad
not really. Everyone's
news.
usually kind of doing their own
I
thing. The
messed
crowd
my
that cares
hair
about Knivesies is over by around Knivesies. But
Smell the bloodlust.
I don't believe we are playing next week, actually. We are going to be taking a 1 week break out here in the middle of the hook. So we will see you guys. The calendar app on my telephony says first week of March on Saturday the 5th. We'll be back here with a new episode of the Pathfinder Second Edition conversion of the Curse of the Crimson Throne, which is going fantastic so far. I'm having a great freaking time.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Absolutely
I have my next
nothing.
week.
Playing Knivesies with a guy who could eat you.
I got the party and didn't get stabbed.
John's big. John, you got 18 strength.
I have
John's a-
18 strength and
John's a
16
big
con.
boy.
Dude, he's playing Knivesies. I'm playing Footsies. It's going great.
Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you
I'm playing whiskeys.
for bearing with us for
Uh-oh.
weird technical issues that happen sometimes. Appreciate your understanding. We will see you again in 2 weeks, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, here at twitch.tv/official Paizo. This has not been the whole campaign. John playing Knivesies, though, is a hell of a hook.